and airdrafted me into doing this presentation. And I was in China for 2 years, and also I'm an international studies major at OTU, so I should know a little bit. And so what I'm going to talk to you guys about is environmental stress and sustainability of anthropogenic activities in northern China. First, I guess I'm going to be discussing Inner Mongolia and the northern regions of Guangsu. But first, all right.
What's he doing?
And my presentation's over. Great. Thank you. Okay, so I guess first kind of understand this better. This is a map of annual precipitation, and as you can see, the southern China has a huge amount of rainfall. Northern China is much more arid, and then of course you have extreme aridity in the northwest. And really the reasons for this is that in the summers the monsoons come up, and as they go north and over the landmass, they weaken. And there's a series of mountain ranges along this dotted line between the Yangtze and Yellow River. And what?
One of the mouse not being on the screen.
Right. Sorry. I don't know why. I'm not used to doing this. I'm used to it's weird. So yeah, there's a series of mountain ranges here, and on bad years, these monsoons actually dissipate on the mountain ranges, dropping everything on southern regions of China, causing really bad flooding. But the effect also is horrible droughts in the north. And here, just the map of population distributions. You can see heavy areas of population in Guangzhou, Sichuan, around Shanghai, Beijing, and then you can really bisect the country into two halves: one half with 95% of the population, one half with very, very sparse population, and it's really kind of demonstrates how hostile the western part of the country is. And this is a 45-minute talk that I gave for my my thesis. So I'm not going to actually do it. I'm just going to talk about food because it's much easier, and I don't want to talk to you guys for an hour. So I guess I can very loosely categorize the two types of Chinese cuisine into a northern and southern types of cuisine. And does anyone know why I do that? Kevin?
Different.
Really? Paying attention?
Water difference?
The climate.
Yeah. Exactly. You have a very, very wet south, very dry north, and that's so you grow different crops. North, you're gonna have a lot more dry, harsh, resistant crops. You're gonna have wet wheat. You're gonna have corn. In the south, you have the ability to have wet rice, and so you're gonna have very different staples. In the north, you're gonna have bread. You're gonna have wheat, noodles, other derivatives of that. In the south, you're gonna have rice and derivatives of rice. And so, the two styles are also distinct in that the north is much harsher, so I describe it as over like a heavier style of food. So you're gonna have it's gonna be much richer. You're gonna have much more fat. You're gonna have much more salt, and really, you're gonna have really much more conservative style. You're gonna have fewer varieties of what you can put into it, and simply that's a constraint of your environment. In the south, it's the polar opposite. You have a huge variety of what you can put into it. It's very hot, very humid, so you're going to have very light, I don't describe it as light style. And it comes out through the cooking, through the oils, and through the flavors. And with that huge variety, you have very spicy, you have very sweet. And you also get that, the kind of the sayings of Chinese eat everything. And it partly is true. In southern China, I've seen a huge variety of things that I would not necessarily eat. In cages and waiting to be served. I mean, this is not in the cities, but once you get out, this is really something you can still see, which is kind of cool because it's disappearing, and it's, not great because it's pushing. And then, again, I showed you this before, and really what I wanted to show you is the population centers, and the population centers really each arose their own distinct cuisine. So up here in Guangzhou was previously Canton, so you have called Canton. So you have Cantonese style food. You have Hong Kong, you have cow gear, and then Sichuan Basin, Sichuan style food. Hey, Kwa, welcome to my talk. So I'm going to talk about Cantonese food. It's probably the most well-known in the United States. So if you go out to a Chinese restaurant, it's very likely that you're going to be having some sort of Cantonese food adaptation. It's not going to be straight Cantonese food, but it's going to be something very similar, designed for American palates. So you know, you can have your stir fries, what you're already familiar with. Next, you have Sichuan food, which is again one of the four big food groups in China, and it's also very popular and gaining in popularity. And again, this is more associated with peppers, very, very spicy food. Garlic and ginger are also incorporated in this. And I spent some time in kind of regions which are influenced. So I got some quotes from locals, which I just felt like putting in. Its spicy flavor attracts many people to challenge their taste buds. The pepper of Sichuan is hot, but gives you a feeling of numb. A very exciting, very interesting as well. Sichuan food has its charming features in a lot of ways. So a question I was actually asked a lot is, why do you think they put so much spice in their food?
So they sweat more?
To kill the bacteria?
Actually, that's very right. So yeah, it's in a basin. So the south is already very humid, and in this basin it's even worse. So it's actually quite miserable, I think. But it's a really interesting place. So yeah, they eat this kind of spicy food to sweat out a lot. They also eat it for exactly to resist disease. And kind of the third thing, which I kind of love, is it's the secret to why the girls in the region's skin is so good. So now I'm just going to use pictures of myself traveling. So this is me in Hong Kong. I'm at a Burger King, and Western food chains are actually everywhere. This is Hong Kong, but you could find them, out in the regions, remote regions of Xinjiang or up north in Mongolia. And I actually found this Burger King be better than any Burger Kings I had in mainland China or in the United States. So it has some distinction. Now, when I first got off the plane in China, I was with a host family, and this is the food they served me. It was really a huge kind of culture shock because my system was not at all acclimated to any of this food. So I came in, right off the plane, and put my stuff in the hotel, and this is what was there. I mean, this is great, and I loved it, and they tried really hard. You can see here they got the sausages, and they really tried to make something that American would like. It was a very difficult first meal for me. But the top two things there you can see are tu lo chai ro, which is potato and pork. And for the next basically 2 years, whenever I didn't know what was going on and I needed to order something, I just ordered that because it's relatively safe. Potato and pork, it's very simple. Now, I got very sick all the time, and it was my fault because I always wanted to eat like the local style of food, which was great. And I guess getting sick was just a consequence of that. But when you travel around and you only eat at like the very safe restaurants, you're not going to get a feeling for the local cuisine. You're going to miss out a lot, I think, on your travels. So this is one of the areas I went to, Dazu, which is in the Sichuan kind of sphere of influence. It's 3 hours out of Chongqing. Chongqing was initially part of Sichuan province before the government made it its own municipality. And so you can see the food actually, I think the family toned it down for me. It's not as spicy in these pictures, but here they are, some hot pot, and you can see much more, the red flavor of the spices here. This is just some local barbecue, went out on the street, and kind of love this stuff. It's incredibly spicy though. It's really good, but really spicy, and that's kind of the story of my whole time there. Was I would eat it very, very slowly, have a bite, try to eat like something else, have another little bite. But it was great. Noodles, spicy noodles, not spicy noodles. Big difference in color. This is just some sweet and sour fish. This is a lady grilling up this fish dish here, which is also spicy, but it was really, really good. Probably one of my favorite dishes in China. Giant wok. So it's another kind of funny story. Since I was there for 2 years, I was missing holidays, and for Thanksgiving, I really, really wanted a pie, and I couldn't find one. So I went around and I finally went to McDonald's because they had pies, and so they had this pineapple pie, and really horrible. It was not something I'd recommend anyone eat, but it was an experience for sure. Yeah. So I was able to travel up to Xinjiang, which is in the northwestern region. If you look on the map, it was one of the that very, very, very arid region of the map. And this is a largely Muslim region of China. You can see here, this is naan bread, freshly baked. It was really kind of wonderful. Your local merchants of food. And, now this dish here, I only have this picture of me eating it, and I don't look happy eating it. But this is actually one of my favorite dishes in the region. I have no idea why I was making this face, but yeah, this is this lovely dish, and I wish I could make it, but it's out of my ability. It's kind of like an Afghani dish, and where we were actually very close to the borders of Pakistan and Afghanistan, within 200 miles. So, the kind of the culture I would say was very similar.
What's in that?
Is that
This
sticky rice or just rice?
this is just rice.
That raisin?
Yeah, rice, raisins, dates. You have mutton, and then
Egg?
no, you don't have egg.
It's the white stuff then.
What's up with
Bottom
rice?
Rice.
Well, cake. Not cake. No, it's slow cooked in these huge pots in layers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So some get browner than others.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
looks good.
It was wonderful. This is not quite as beautiful, but it's kind of just like a local food, and I wanted to put it in because I don't have any pictures of Xinjiang food. And then, of course, you have the dried foods that they're famous for.
Oh.
And so it's a really great place to visit, but I would recommend you bring like some snack mix or something because restaurants are sometimes far between, and the ones you find you don't always want to eat at or can really get into very easily. Mainly because there's a huge language barrier and cultural barrier. Sometimes, as I was wishing in China that I wanted something very familiar, so I wanted a burger. And so I found this burger, and I was like, yes, this burger. And it was probably the worst hamburger I've ever had in my life. So I guess the lesson here is that if you're in a remote region of any country, it's probably just safer to eat some standard local cuisine than something you think you like, because they're probably going to do a horrible job of it. And that was pretty much consistent with my experiences. Spaghetti, anything, don't do it. It's only to disappoint you. So this is in Yunnan, which is kind of on the other extreme. It's the southwestern extreme of China. This is a little town called Lijiang. Here, insects. They didn't only serve insects, but it was one of the dishes on the menu, and of course I had to try it. And actually, I didn't really like them as much as I thought I would. I guess it's not that surprising. They were very crunchy. They were insects. That's, a notch I can say. I've had insects. It's great. But the other food, kind of like hot pot. You get boiling water, you put in ingredients, cooks. It was great. Zhuhai, this is very near Macau, and this is you can see the influence of the southern styles. This is all steamed. It's all very light. Another example, and then of course you have the giant markets, the fish. Of course you would see because this is a coastal city. And then I was able to go up to Inner Mongolia for a short period of time, and this is actually with an OSU group. And as you get more, more at the extreme, so as you go north and as you go west, the ability for people to generate crops, harvest crops, greatly diminishes. You're going to get grasslands, which is actually all goes into my other talk, which I'm not going to go into at all. But so you're going to start seeing a lot of people depending on animals. So you're going to see a lot more cheeses, a lot more milks, a lot more yogurts, and this was just a home brewed batch, and it was great. This is just a roast mutton.
It's wearing hats. Oh my.
Yeah. It was fun.
That's Dale. I was kidding.
What?
Now this guy, I just want to state this, that a lot of university drinkers, they drink a lot. And they go, I drink every weekend. I get really hammered, and I'm good. And so they go out there, and they're serving this like very, 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 very strong alcohol. They're like, yeah, I can take this. I can drink a lot of it. And so what was happening is they were drinking with this local driver, and no matter what anyone can think, he'll completely destroy you. And this happened to the group.
They don't look so
This is
good.
early in the night, and they're already starting to look pretty bad. But yeah, pretty much everyone threw up. We were carrying people upstairs in the end, and actually some of the people had to pay the hotel because of the damages they did. So it was kind of embarrassing. One of the kids actually threw up on the main Chinese host.
Oh no.
What's with the white scarves?
It was like a ceremony. Like you drink this alcohol, we give you a scarf. Rite of passage. And yeah, this is the result. This is only one drink at the time, and they kept them on. So yeah, this is another thing I encountered kind of in the countryside, and probably none of you read Chinese, but this is actually they refuse to serve Japanese people, and so you don't see it very often, but it is a fact. There's still a lot of resentment against the Japanese.
Where was this? In particular?
This was in Hunan,
Okay.
which is kind of center of China. Barbecue, some snails. And then, this is just another dish. You pick out whatever food you want, boil it, eat it. It's good. So that's my little talk. Yeah. Thanks for having it. You come up here. Do you have the USB drive?
Huh?
You have the USB drive?